Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Friends, it's time to continue our voyage on Strange New Worlds, specifically with Season 1, Episode 3, and I hope I got this right, The Ghosts of Illyria. Again, friends, this is for me is an exploration into two very wide-ranging offerings on the Star Trek spectrum. I'm watching the original series right now, and I've decided to go ahead and watch Strange New Worlds because it is set in the same time period, albeit slightly before. I'm interested to see how both, generational writing groups approach this particular pivotal time for both the Federation and for sci-fi fans. Friends, before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. You'll be alerted next time we go live with Strange New Worlds or any of our sci-fi offerings. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to the Patreon's in the description. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time to watch Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1, Episode 3, Ghosts of Illyria. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction, and away we go!
Hey, Chief.
Wait, you two know each other?
I'm actually really digging the characters too, now that I have more of a context to them.
What's the mission?
Explore.
See, it's my favorite Star Trek. Just explore. Just show me new shit.
First officer's log.
Ooh.
Illyrians are a humanoid species known for modifying their genes to enhance their capabilities and levels of function.
Oh, wow.
However, because genetic modification is forbidden in the Federation, they have always been outcasts. Unfortunately, research time on the surface is limited, as the planet is regularly swept by ion storms.
So this is an abandoned colony? That is crazy looking.
Damn it, I wish we had more time.
Damn, I'm digging those jackets.
Spock, this is Pike. Come in.
The storm must be interfering. I'll go grab him.
No, I got it. You get the rest of the team back home.
Ensign Lance.
Ensign Lance. What the f is that stuff floating around you?
Commander, I'm having trouble getting a lock on your signals. The ion storm is interfering.
Storm's only getting closer, Enterprise.
1 second, Commander.
Get back inside. The kid's gonna have problems.
Rerouting auxiliary power. Get ready. Chief Hammer to bridge. Prepare for temporary engagement of emergency systems backups.
I like this character too. He's not an Andorian either. He's I guess what, a sister species? An Anar, right? Isn't that what those are? Because he mentioned telepathy or something like that, like foresight.
Engineering to transporter. Try it now.
How did you?
I am a genius. Move quickly.
Copy.
This is somebody that's really good at something, doing what they're really good at.
Better not be out of miracles, Mr. Kyle. Captain and Mr. Spock are still on the surface.
Mr. Kyle's been at that post for quite a bit.
I think I've managed to uncover a previously undiscovered cache of journals that may be relevant. I'm looking forward to reading them.
Great. How about we get to the rendezvous point before the storm overtakes us so you can?
Lesson to be learned from all of this is do not leave Spock in a library with a time limit. Yep, get Hammer on the line.
You and Mr. Spock should find shelter until the storm passes, and quickly.
Copy number one.
That looks so cool.
Run.
I'm assuming Christopher's going to tell us about the final frontier here. If Spock ever told me to run, I ask no questions. I simply want to know a direction. That is the only additional information I need, is a direction in which I should be running. And then he will need to tell me when to stop. Also, if you're unaware, my favorite captain that I've experienced so far in Star Trek, I've watched all the movies and, I know Picard, I've seen Picard season 3, so my experience is limited. I've seen the entire Enterprise series. And, I've had kind of peripheral osmosis stuff with a lot of the captains, but my guy is always Jim Kirk. Jim Kirk, from a kid to now, it has never varied. It might though, if when I get into Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, and everybody said that I'm going to really dig Cisco, so I'm absolutely keeping all my my mind open and options open. But Kirk's my guy, and I've always said this: the absolute best officer that has ever existed in Starfleet, ever, is Spock. Again, somebody's made the argument for Data, and I will absolutely keep my mind open whenever I see him. But for me, Star Trek is Kirk and Spock. Change my mind, I would love you to, and I'm willing to absolutely hear every argument. What a lovely problem to have.
The ion storm is functionally a communications blackout.
I want to know the second you connect with the captain.
Yes, Commander.
No one can do it better.
And tell Chief Kyle to have relief ready. I want the transporter standing by.
That is a great moment. That moment of not hesitancy, but almost like slowly dropping yourself into the chair that she did. That was really cool. It's like a weight.
Doing your own quarters?
I need to feel the light on my skin.
Oh, this is Ensign Lance.
What the hell are you doing?
Or take us to security, I need Deck 14!
Now he opened that locker that had that shit flying in the air. All of them on the surface are being drawn to light. What the shit?
Funny you should mention it. I have several of them in here as we speak, presenting with some very curious symptoms. I was about to call you. Are you feeling all right?
I'm okay.
Really? You may want to change your uni if you're trying to go with this subterfuge.
All on sources of illumination, and yet the light's the only thing that seems to calm them down.
Is it light or heat? I'm assuming just the light.
Well, the transporter's biofilters would have screened out anything abnormal. But I ran viral and bacterial scans anyway as a precaution. They're clean.
Really?
Nonsense. The biofilters would have caught any contamination during transport.
Unless it was something they weren't programmed to catch.
Can't happen. They don't recognize it, they filter it out.
Really? I didn't know that about biofilters. Even if they don't even recognize it, they filter it out.
Anything else abnormal during transport you can think of?
And jump the power.
I can sense that expression, you know.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know.
I will run a level 5 diagnostic ship-wide to make you feel better, Commander.
Thank you.
Which, I might add, may well take all night.
This show's beautiful. I do love the original series era uniform so much better than everything else so far.
Landing party members are getting ill. The doctor thinks they were exposed to something on the surface.
Apologies.
Shh. Listen, if Uhura can't keep that connection, even as a cadet, it can't be connected.
Several landing party members are showing symptoms of some kind of contamination. Security needs to keep an eye out for anyone exhibiting strange behavior. They could also provide us with a cure.
Isn't using any Illyria medical tech against Federation regs?
Thanks to the eugenics wars. I imagine you know all about that period in history.
Miss Noonien Singh.
As your ancestor and not develop a thick skin.
Khan Noonien Singh.
Made myself a kind of an expert on him when I was a kid.
I mean, that's like literally like being, hey, who are you? Hi, I'm Angela Hitler.
I'd hope that someone with your last name would know that snap judgments made on genetics are faulty at best. Individuals are so much more than just...
Is it me or is it dark in here?
She wasn't down there, was she?
Number 1 to Dr. Mabenga?
Commander?
I think we have a new problem.
So I wonder, does she have genetic modification?
Except whatever it is isn't being passed by any traceable viral or bacteriological means.
What do you recommend, Doctor?
To keep it from spreading, full lockdown.
Jeez. Welcome to the chair.
All on-duty personnel will be confined to specific work zones until further notice.
Holy shit. Somebody's got their engine room whipped into shape. A snap and they all know what to do. Holy smokes.
You are deliberately mixing my metaphor in order to indulge your anxiety.
There are sick people on my ship. We're stuck down here.
This guy does a good job with Spock. And Anson Mount does a good job with Pike, too. And I need to get one of those jackets.
This place is fun. They should sell tickets.
Maybe stay in the place without a window.
As Federation law forbids genetic manipulation, this group is attempting to reverse its DNA modifications to gain entry. De-engineering themselves, as it were.
That's a new one.
It is a new one.
I'm only halfway through these records, Captain.
Consider maybe skipping to the end.
Yeah, I was going to say skip to the end, Spock. See, that's the best thing about Spock. Spock is incredibly thorough. Like, you can't rush him, you know? He understands timeliness, but he's got to get it all done.
Tell me you saw that too.
I did. Although what I saw exactly, I'm not sure.
New life form. They look like life forms. Look like vaguely.
Computer and simulation!
What did you do that for?
We need light!
How many more?
Almost 50.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, Cadet Uhura's roommates both came down with it. She's completely fine.
Okay, so somebody's got immunity built up for something. My man here can't even, he can't, like, physically see, right?
On the ship in the middle of the night running diagnostics. Fun. Doctor.
Fun. What's going on? How's your day?
The medical transporter is fine.
That shouldn't have affected the lights.
Please stop messing around in here.
I think I've seen a couple episodes of Strange New Worlds, and I think I remember what that was about.
I think we know what made that sound.
Indeed.
Woo, 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 woo. Oh, man. Cut him. They're coming in.
Lockdown is instituted. You're off duty. You come here. Your roommates.
Yeah, track it. Track it. What did you do?
I closed the door. I need it pitch black to fall asleep. I'm like the princess.
That's it. That's it. She was in complete darkness, I bet you.
The contagion travels on light. Insidious.
Insidious.
Light is literally everywhere. Any light wave could carry the infection.
It's only a matter of time before we all...
Yep, 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 yep.
So how do we stop it?
Darkness.
Would it be too intrusive to sedate all of them?
Given the alternative.
All right, well, let's do that shit. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, friends. The nacelles are still glowing because you can't really take out the warp core offline, right? Not that you could really want to do that anyway. It's not part of the turning off the lights, isn't it?
Alert. Blackout override in transporter room. Danger of critical circuit overload.
Commander Chin Riley to transporter room. What's going on?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Security team.
Hammer, what are you doing?
Performing a miracle. Come in. You'll enjoy it.
What? What are you working on, dude?
You're transporting a piece of the planet's core.
Why?
I want to feel the radiance on my skin.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Hammer, it's 1,000 degrees. It'll kill you.
More like 10,000. Just a few seconds more and it'll be here.
What, Dear God. Holy shit. That's a pretty easy lift. Is number one supposed to be... I mean, Rebecca Romaine is huge, like very tall. I'm wondering if she's supposed to be like, I guess like a physical specimen. Is that the easiest way to... That's a pretty interesting lift. She's human, right?
I'm still waiting for the useful part.
I found no entry describing the creatures causing harm to the colonists.
Well...
My ears are popping.
The atmospheric pressure is rising. Ionization levels in the storm are now lethal to organic matter.
Oh, great. Yep. Here they are. They're protecting them. They're protecting them. They formed a bubble. I think they are. It doesn't seem like they're doing anything to them.
the exact hell are you carrying him? Never mind. He needs to be sedated before he wakes up.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to be next.
Oh, no.
And my immune system did what it was bioengineered to do. I didn't tell you earlier because I'm an Illyrian.
Okay, so she's genetically modified.
Look, I know there's a directive against mixing human and Illyrian blood, but I couldn't care less right now.
Go.
Mbenga's coming down with it, everybody.
You don't create antibodies that lie dormant. Your immune system literally burns out new infections immediately.
Oh.
You better put me out.
No, wait. We'll come up with something.
There's nothing to come up with.
What's going on?
You're a Starfleet doctor. There's always something.
Mbenga is infected.
I am a physician. I beg you to help if you could. Regulations be damned. But you can't help here.
Warning. Warp core containment field has been deactivated.
It was Leon. Leon was the one that, or it's Laon, right?
Warning. Containment field has been deactivated.
Dear God.
We'll be flooded with light.
On stuff!
Danger of exposure to matter antimatter radiation. Containment field at 7.
Ooh.
Let me go!
Wow.
You're an abomination, an augment. That's what the other kids call me when they heard my name. Augment monster. Like you are.
Ooh.
Warp core breach imminent.
I mean, we might want to take care of that warp core breach.
Back to Enterprise, do you read me?
There's no one left up there, Chris.
They went to great lengths to save our lives. They shielded us when the storm broke through. Why wouldn't they have done the same for the colonists?
I see two possibilities.
So they tried.
Because of some previous interaction with the colonists.
And the second?
They were unable to save the colonists because they are the colonists.
Yeah. Yep.
Although it is possible the charged storm particles bonded with the colonists' electromagnetic presence, creating what we saw.
Anybody do that?
This is a thorough account of the colonists' initiative to renounce their genetic engineering in order to join the Federation.
Oh.
It would seem, even in death, they wanted us to be aware of who they really were.
Oh, wow. They just wanted to be part of the Federation.
Some Illyrians were, among other things, bioengineered to fight disease. Had they not tried to reverse their augmentation, they may not have all died.
They literally died for their beliefs.
As I was stopping her, she got a bad dose of radiation, and so did I. Apparently, my body cured both of us before I re-engaged the field. Her proximity to the commander created chimeric antibodies in her system. I was able to synthesize them into a cure before they set. Don't thank me. I know I'm good at my job.
Everyone here owes you their life.
That's a team effort, but Rebecca Romaine is very tall. I didn't realize it. I mean, I know she's a former model and everything, but she's very tall.
Mind if I sit?
Does she remember anything?
I mean, we're friends, right?
Do you want me to tell you it was just a sickness talking?
Oh, wow, she does remember.
Illyrians seek collaboration with nature. By bioengineering our bodies, we adapt to naturally existing habitats. Instead of terraforming planets, we modify ourselves.
Oh, terraforming yourself for the planet. That's cool, man.
Since I first saw the stars, was to join Starfleet.
I know.
I'm sorry, who wouldn't join Starfleet if given the opportunity? I mean, I'd proudly serve on the smallest frigate in the fleet.
By not disclosing my genetic augmentation, worse, by enlisting in Starfleet, I've committed a Federation offense.
No, that's horseshit.
Rejected.
Sir?
I don't care where you come from. You're the best first officer in the fleet.
That's kind, but I've broken a dozen regulations. I lied to get into Starfleet. According to Federation law, if you shelter me, they could come after you too.
I welcome that discussion.
Oh, yeah, baby. I welcome that discussion.
Are severely misunderstood. Your actions in the crisis prove that again.
You had a whole colony kill themselves just to be members of the Federation.
What do we do when Starfleet finds out?
Fuck them.
You let me worry about Starfleet?
Now that's a commanding officer. I'll take this weight.
It was your medical transporter that inhibited the biofilters. But you didn't let them upgrade the medical transporter when we were in space dock. I'm starting to suspect you couldn't.
What's going on? Oh, wait.
Shows you're keeping something in the pattern buffer.
Yeah.
It was an accident.
What are you keeping in there that could be worth all our lives?
Not what?
Who?
Daughter. A year ago, she was diagnosed with sudden leukemia. Brutal disease. You can't imagine what it's like to watch a child wither away.
Oh my God.
To see a lifetime of potential reduced to 12-week prognosis.
12-week?
Did you know there's no limit on how long you can store someone's pattern in the buffer?
As long as you have the power.
In the buffer, my daughter doesn't age. We travel light years in hours. It's somewhere out there.
It's a cure.
Would you consider, before you return me to Starfleet, that I might have a chance to spend a little more time with my daughter?
You really think she's gonna tell on you, dude? After what Chris did for her?
I'll provide a dedicated power source direct from the warp core. This problem, we can ensure it never happens again.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. How to show a crew loves each other. That was a great scene by the actor that plays Mbenga.
Hi, Dad.
Ah.
Now, where were we?
King Ridley was about to climb the tower to rescue Princess Talia from evil Queen Ned.
Oh, look at that, sweetie.
Dr. Mbenga stopped hiding today, just a little. And for once, I did too. What if I hadn't saved all those lives? Would Captain feel the same?
But you did.
If King Ridley would seek out the Macri Stone and win it as his own, his victory over Queen Neb would be assured. Since the Macri Stone has the power to cleanse the land of evil and bring prosperity to all.
What a storyline. Oh my God. Woo. Well, that got me. That really got me. All right, everybody, we just got done watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1, Episode 3, Ghosts of Illyria. And the only thing left to do is to talk about it. All right, everybody, we just got done watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1, Episode 3, Ghosts of Illyria. Okay, so certain things, full disclosure, everybody, I have seen several episodes of Strange New Worlds, but when talking to my buddy, most of them, if not all of them, are Season 2. Now, I have seen all of Discovery Season 1, which I didn't really care for as much, and I saw Discovery Season 2, which I liked quite a bit. So I have a pretty good background on a lot of these characters, I think, you know. I don't remember seeing this episode, so this was a brand new one for me. But some of the storylines in it, I am pinging and remembering. I had no context before about how number one was an Illyrian. I didn't realize that they, you know, I think I did see an episode in season 2 that discusses this further, but now it's again completely different because I have a completely new context for everything. And to be very fair, and I've mentioned this before, when I watched these episodes, I wasn't like focusing. I was like in a group. So it wasn't like I was, you know, really paying attention, and I had, like, again, I had no context for it. And so I would be like, oh, wow, that was a really cool part, not knowing any of the characters or anything. So that's obviously changed for me. And I think there's a definite greater appreciation for the episodes I've seen. And obviously something like this that I've never seen before I thought it was a very good episode. I know that there have been points of the plot line with Mbenga's daughter. I have no idea how that resolves itself, though, or if it resolves itself, or how it progresses through season 2. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But I think that storyline in and of itself is incredibly powerful. You have got a parent that is doing everything in their power, really legal or otherwise, to keep their child alive. You got me. I am hooked. I'm invested in that because that in and of itself is one of the greatest causes to champion, if not the greatest cause to champion a parent's defense of a child. You know, we watch The Expanse. I've been watching The Expanse, and The Expanse is an incredible show. And one of my favorite character on The Expanse, Amos Burton, says at one point, every child needs someone to go to bat for them. I'm paraphrasing. Every child needs one person that will fight for them. And as soon as I heard that statement, I thought it is an incredibly simple statement. You know, it's almost like, you know, of course, every child should have somebody, but there are so few that do. And I keep that in mind now, and I actually becomes one of the things that I place upon, if you're a parent, or, you know, I place that type of categorization on you now, the Amos Burton doctrine, basically. And Mbenga absolutely fits that mold, you know, where he is there for his child. He will do whatever it takes for his child. And that in right there, I'm hooked. That is a storyline that I am hooked to. You don't even really need to try. You got me, but try they did in this. And it set up such a really cool kind of like a cascade of plot points throughout the Enterprise. We had that at the end, which I really, really dug. And this is what I mean by that. Cascading plot points are basically, I mean, they're exactly what they define themselves to be. The origin plot point for whatever character or story that you're talking about, its effects bleed into other characters or other storylines, creating variations on that storyline, yada, yada, yada. But the prime plot point or the prime storyline that we have in this one is basically secrets. You know what I mean? You had number one had a secret of being Illyrian. You have Mbenga, the secret of housing his daughter inside of the transporter buffer. And then that bleeds over into the interpersonal relationships of so many of our principal players now. We have the captain, we have the first officer, and we have the chief medical officer. Arguably the three, I mean, most important people on the boat, right? So you've got those three that are now tied with this kind of cascading support. You know, you had Chris that said, no, I'm not, you pick up your badge. You're not resigning anything. And what a great line. You know, they're going to come for you. I'd welcome that conversation. Like, he's ready. You know, I love that. You know, it's like, they want to fight. I'll give them a fight. I love that. What a great way for not just a superior officer, but a friend to be. You don't have to explain yourself to me. I know who you are. You're my friend. You're my first officer. You're the best first officer in the fleet. That's all. I don't need to be convinced that you need to be defended. I would defend you no matter what. I love that. And I don't think that it's necessary that number one would have gone down to Mbenga without the conversation with Chris or the reveal that she's Illyrian or basically anything that just happened on this episode, and had gone down there and been a hard ass with Mbenga. I don't get that vibe from her. But, you know, going down there and going the extra mile, and it wasn't just like, I'm not going to turn you in, Mbenga. She said, I'm going to provide a dedicated power line from the warp core to this buffer or transporter unit so your daughter's safe, so it'll never happen again. That is crazy cool to me. That is so cool because, you know, it just speaks of a broader based connection than just superior subordinate rank and file military. Not I'm just missing military, I'm just saying, you know, the cold kind of just, you know, the military structure of command. While it's in place with this, you know, we see more of the human qualities bleeding through that could easily have been overlooked. You know, with this kind of rank system, you know, it would be easy, and we've seen this exploited before, and I've seen it in the original series and things like that, where if you're of a higher rank, you know, there doesn't necessarily have to be a connection with anybody that's your subordinate. They just have to follow orders, and we've seen that. And of course, you know, it comes with time served, and I mean, there's way more to the conversation, but in seeing this and seeing the theme of secrets in Ghosts of Illyria, you know, it speaks so awesome to the creative department being able to, like, you know, this is a way that not only tell a really cool tale about a group that was desperate to join the Federation to the point where they actually killed themselves because they were removing the safeguards that would have protected them from, you know, this light disease. And they were literally willing to die for the Federation, to the point where, and I can only assume, one of those things triggered that tube that came out, and he read like, this is what they wanted us to know. You know, they wanted us to know that they, no matter what, they wanted to be members of the Federation, to the point of complete self-sacrifice. What I would like to see, and I'm going to really look for something like this, a little footnote that basically says that, you know, the Illyrian of this colony were posthumously accepted into the Federation. I think that would be so cool. I really, really do. I think that that would be just, it would save, it would make the Federation seem so much more, you know, for lack of a better word, human, you know, that they were able to say, you know, my God, look what they did just to be a part of us. You know, and then put a plaque down there at the, you know, that's some, you know, prayers and thoughts and all that stuff. But I just think, you know, just some recognition, like, you know, and I don't know if you could put a plaque down there or some equivalency on the planet that said, you know, here is a Federation colony, you know, housed by whoever was on the colony, you know, all citizens true, or, you know, something cool like that, where I don't know if the ghosts of Illyria can read it or anything, but if they could, man, wouldn't that be awesome? You know, maybe give them some measure of solace, because they obviously have a measure of intelligence. They saved Spock and Pike. You know, they knew they had to get in there to do that. Boy, I just think it would be so cool if they could see that and be like, oh my God, we did it. It might even, I mean, not to get, you know, metaphysical, it might release them, you know, it might allow them to move on or whatever. I just, a really, really cool approach. You know, the one thing that I did like a lot too, when speaking about the Illyrians, you know, I always, whenever I see something with sci-fi that I've never seen before, it really pings, especially for Star Trek. You know, I love the use of, I really love Mbenga's use of the medical transporter to house his child, you know, to keep her buffered in there so the disease doesn't progress. That is so cool to me, because it's a tactic. It is, you know, it's not a cure, but it is a treatment for what's going on. And he can prolong his time to find that cure somewhere out in the sea of stars. You know, somebody out there has to know how to slow this thing down, how to heal her. And that is a crazy great storyline to make. I mean, incredibly powerful. The highest of stakes. You got me hooked. I've already said that. But the other thing I liked with the Illyrian is the description that she gave about them. It wasn't like they were genetically modifying themselves for like superiority or to make them, you know, more powerful or intelligent or things like that. It was to be able to expand into the universe, so to speak, without disrupting the planets upon which they were expanding to. You know, they would terraform themselves. They're almost like environmentalists, you know, like environmentalist explorers that see a planet like, oh, that would kill us. Well, we could, you know, modify it and then we could breathe methane or whatever would happen to be, you know, and I just think that's crazy cool. We'll terraform ourselves for the planet so the ecosystem of the planet isn't altered. What a novel approach. And I think that to me, that was the coolest takeaway of like the science part of Star Trek. And this one, really, really great shit. So far, I'm digging the series, friends, and especially now that I'm able to watch it and really kind of appreciate it a little bit more, I can see why it's doing pretty good. It's doing pretty well. Friends, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. It greatly helps out the channel, and it allows me to alert you the next time we go live with Strange New Worlds. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early, Strange New Worlds included, or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. If you're not a fan of Patreon, stick with us here on YouTube memberships, and you'll get all of our episodes for all of our series a day early, plus any bonus episodes we come up with. But my friends, all that's then and this is now, and now it's time to say goodbye. So where should we say goodbye from? Well, friends, as I was spinning here and talking during the thoughts section, I thought this is where we'll say goodbye from, because you and I, we are members of Starfleet. You know, I don't know what color uniform you're wearing, and you know, it doesn't matter what color uniform I'm wearing, but you and I have been given an assignment, and this is where we say goodbye from, as we beam down to the Illyrian colony. And, you know, we see the places where Spock and Pike and Number One and all the landing party were, and we place the plaque down that says that this colony was posthumously accepted into the Federation, and all of the citizens, their names listed, died as Federation members one and all. Friends, until we get to continue this lovely trek through the stars, Vulcan roll, and I'll see you.